Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new video. Remember ages ago, it was actually a year back, I built my PC, my personal beast of a PC. I actually did a few things wrong when I look back at the footage. I realized that I neglected a lot of items, and particularly one is cable management. Secondly is the CPU cooler. Actually, I realized that the CPU cooler could be in a different place. And I have since realized my mistake, and today I'm going to go ahead and fix it. And I'm also going to try something else. So instead of having the top being this mesh, I'm going to use the tempered glass instead. You guys will see it. It's going to be really cool. For that, I got to get started now. So let's begin. Before I start, this is what we're putting on as well. So this is the Thermalright secure frame. So it's actually a contact frame is what it's called. Now what this does is it has multiple purposes. The main two purposes are firstly to ensure that the CPU bracket does not get bent. Because what can happen over time is you can actually, based off of how much you've mounted the screws on the motherboard or based off of usage, the CPU can actually get bent. And if it bends, we have a problem. So typically to make sure this doesn't happen, you would install a contact frame. And I'm going to do this because for the second reason, which is because we're going to have to reapply the thermal paste since we're taking out the CPU cooler. And it's always nice to have this frame on top to apply the thermal paste. It's much easier to do so, and it doesn't go everywhere. So that's also why we're doing this. Let's take the PC. I forgot how heavy he was. Because guys, okay, this PC is much heavier than I remember. And that's also partially because of the graphics card. We do have a 5080 in here, and this one is, needless to say, a very heavy guy. So that's one reason why it's this. So another thing that I need to do is, if you guys can see, I also need to get rid of these cables because this is not something you want to have on a build like this. So the issue is that right now my power supply doesn't have a direct 600 watt power cable. So if you guys remember the exact video before this one, I actually I built a PC for our subscriber, and for him, his 850 watt Thermalright power supply came with a 600 watt GPU connector. But before we get to the graphics card, this is a quick 1 to 3 PCIe connector for your motherboard. For your power supply. If your power supply doesn't give you a direct 600 watt cable, then you would have to use 3 PCIe slots from your power supply. Luckily for us, our power supply has a 600 watt cable, so we've connected that directly, and we'll do that soon. So we can put that back in. But mine is a slightly older RG Strix 1000 watt power supply, which does not have that cable in. So because of that, I have to use the 3-pin adapter to get these in. And you can obviously tell that these tend to get a bit, ugly. So for this, I'm thinking of upgrading into the Lian Li strimer cables, which means that I would have both the 24-pin, the motherboard 24-pin, as well as the graphics card. But the issue with that is that it's also slightly it's expensive. Hey, this is Adrin from the future, and I was editing this video, then I realized that what I said about adding in a strimer cable is not going to solve my problem, because I found out that my power supply is actually not doing really much good for my GPU. Now remember, my GPU is a 5080, and it's not just any 5080, it's an Astro 5080. It's drawing in a huge amount of power, and my power supply, the RG Strix 1000 watt, is not exactly the best for it right now because it's way too old. So what I actually need to do is not get the expensive strimer cables, but actually get an entire power supply itself. And especially the new ones where they actually give you the 600 watt cable itself. Now I was looking at the ROG Strix 1000 watt, maybe the Thor, or the newer ones that come with the actual 600 watt cable itself, and they have the special cable that they've created. The reason why I'm sticking to ROG is because, like I said, my graphics card is an ROG Asus graphics card. So it's probably ideal to stick to the same brand because that is the best for power delivery. And guess how much that costs, guys? Suddenly, this PC is getting more and more expensive. But the main thing that we're here for is we're actually moving the CPU cooler. The CPU cooler needs to be moved to the back, which is actually what it's for. But we didn't realize this when we built it. Oh my god, this is so heavy. The Lianli case has a dedicated section in the back where the radiator is supposed to go. So what usually would happen is, you know, we'd get rid of these fans. We would move these fans to supposedly somewhere else. But the other downside to me putting the glass on top is that I would have to use one less fan, because obviously we would lose the 3 fans on top. I've also noticed that it's gotten quite dirty. And this is what happens when your PC sits on the floor, which is why I recently moved it to the top. All right, so a few things we're gonna have to do is firstly open up our graphics card, because we need to get some space going on over here. And the easiest way to do that is by removing some stuff that are blocking the way, which in this case would be the graphics card. It's obviously very big and massive. Never mind, just put it up and it worked. Great. If you guys haven't seen, this is the ROG 5080 Astro. ROG Astro 5080, and it's not just any 5080, right? It is the Hatsune Miku edition. I've never actually done a review of this. I might do this really quick, but this is one hell of a beast. Now that the graphics card is out of the way, we have a few things to have a look at. Now, the first thing we gotta do is remove the fans. Actually, no, the fans can stay, I think. Wait, can they stay? After some really, really hard work, I have managed to take out the radiator and the fan, as well as the plate on top. The next steps are now to actually, this is what I've decided, right? What I've decided is we're gonna put the radiator behind this fan, and we're gonna keep these fans. We're not gonna use the Corsair ones. We're gonna keep the Fantex because I like the design of the Fantex more, and the vortex that it has in the middle. It's very cool, and I think I'm gonna keep that for the visuals of the build. So the only thing now that I need to do is to make sure that this goes behind. I need to obviously remove the pump. So this is the part where we're gonna install our contact frame. So what happens is, as soon as I get rid of the pump, we're gonna open up the CPU again and then replace this entire thing with the contact frame. And once that's done, I will show you guys what it looks like. So I'll see you there. Funny story, turns out this thing that I bought, which is the contact frame, I bought the combo, or I thought I bought the combo where it comes with the thermal paste. But guess what? There was no thermal paste. And I already took out the thermal paste of my current CPU and the cooler, and now I'm like, oh shit, I need thermal paste. So I'm gonna go and buy some thermal paste to a nearby PC store that's near my house. So, bye-bye. Guys, bear with me for the really bad quality. I'm using front facing so I can see easier. So I ended up getting the thermal paste. I ran over to the nearest store near me, which was this place called HydroCore. So what they actually do is PC builds with custom water cooling, which is very cool. And I hope to work with them sometime soon. The guy I met, the store guy, Sunny, nice fella. Thank you. So he recommended me this Duranaut Pro, which apparently just released like a week ago. And I told him, look, I need the best of the best because I'm running a 9800X3D. And as you guys know, we have a very expensive CPU, and I gotta make sure that it runs well. And so I got the 2 milligram, which is usually, you know, the one that most people get anyways. Let's see what comes inside. So here it is. This is the Duranaut Pro. As you can see, it's ThermalGrizzly. I'm gonna switch over to my PC footage so you guys can see me do it. Actually, this is a great view for you guys. As you can see, this is my CPU with the contact bracket already installed, contact frame. It's nice and tightly knit installed. I didn't screw it in too tight because you're not supposed to. It's supposed to be just nice. And this is the CPU cooler, which is now, as you can see, bare because I washed it. I mean, I wiped it. So now all we gotta do is install the CPU thermal paste, which in this case is going to be our ThermalGrizzly. You put in a nice little amount. It goes from an X, so you do an X, and then you go next here? Typically, this is already considered a lot, but you know, this is still really good for the amount of cooling that the CPU is going to need. All right, then I guess I'll see you once this is done, huh? We did it. I'm sorry, I came up with a lot of troubleshooting problems, but at the end we did it, and I even put in the top, you know, display, and this looks really, really cool. I have to say, this is fantastic. It actually looks much cleaner and neater than the previous one, because here you see that, you know, the pump wires, they actually go through the back of the case, and then the radiator is behind. So you know, you have a lot more space now, and this is how it should be, I think, when you have a PC at this standard. Of course, the ideal plan is to get rid of this really, really bad cable that we have going through this. But for now, thank you so much for joining me. This was a really quick fix my PC / clean it kind of session. Make sure you guys clean your PCs all the time. It's very important that you guys maintain your items, especially if they're high-end. Even if they're not, I mean, probably just take care of your stuff. So go ahead and do that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.